Phase 1 was amazing. We had 1 epic staff drop, 2 epic sword drops, and 1 epic crossbow drop. I am ready for Phase 2.
We will be in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery, and there are so many things to look forwards to. The new Gnomeregan raid with all its updated bosses and loot,
I hope the Gnomeregan raid will not be years upon years upon years of trash mobs. I really hope that's not going to be the case.
Inevitable chaos of the STV PvP event.
This will be absolute trash and cancer, and everyone knows it. By the way, I'm just putting it. I'm regretting playing in a PvP server. Classic PvP is just stupid and bad. Okay, it's just about the easy loot. It's about the easy bosses and content, and there you go. I don't want a PvP, honestly. I'm done with it. Now, it is hilarious playing a priest without gear and then getting attacked by a rogue from the side, and you just scuffing, putting the powered shield on, and, you know, one penancing, and then just dotting someone up and winning the fight like that. That is hilarious. I love it. But still, I would actually kind of not want this at all. PvP is not going to be fun. I'm probably gonna not even level in STV. It's probably gonna be a mistake to do it.
And of course, a whole host of new runes to get excited about. Today though, I wanted to think about how us leveling up to 40 will affect our classes, both through our baseline abilities, as well as new talents that we'll have access to. The level 25 bracket will end up being the most restrictive one for us by far.
True.
And just getting to level 40, even without the new runes, would see big power increases for many classes. And no, this isn't going to be a speculation video for future runes, because we really have no idea, so I'm just not going to worry about that too much.
The thing I want, as I said previously, if they add new runes, for example, to the hands and leg slots and whatnot, that is cool. But I want belt rune slots, boot rune slots, ring rune slots, weapon rune slots, all of that. I want all of it, because that is going to be where it's at. That's going to be amazing.
Okay, maybe I'll speculate about once or twice, but it's not going to be what the video is all about. But even discounting new runes, I want to show you a little bit of how each class will be getting far more powerful with our current runes, known abilities and talents moving up to level 40. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, Marvel Strike Force. Marvel Strike Force is a mobile squad
amazing! No, the only Marvel game that I am playing is what's it called? Marvel Snap. And Marvel Snap is where it's at, boys. It's absolutely amazing. Everything else probably garbage for boomers.
Let's get back to WoW. Warlock first. So if you played the whole demonology tank thing so far this season, I'm sure you felt the burn of not having real AoE threat. Yes, there is Shadow Cleave, but it's just not very good, is it? So you end up tabbing and spamming Searing Pain. Now, I've seen plenty of comments over Phase 1 saying, wouldn't it be cool if Demonology had some kind of immolation type aura effect, similar to what Metamorphosis has in Wrath of the Lich King? And I have to say, I'm not sure Blizzard wants to give each tank good access to single target and AoE threat as part
Why not? That's stupid that you don't want to do that.
of a design choice this season. But
Blizzard has no idea what they're doing in any of their games, and Season of Discovery, by the way, is no exception. Season of Discovery is fun. I love it. But again, let's not kid ourselves that Blizzard have done anything good remotely, even remotely close to balance, okay? They said, oh, we're gonna make everyone OP. What did we get? Absolutely nothing, as always, from Blizzard. Some specs are literally shit. Warriors and rogues are still the most overpowered things with the most simple one-button rotations. Man, even mages now have 2 buttons to cast. Even mages have 2 buttons to cast. 3 if we're talking about trash mobs. That's crazy. But yeah. This is not even close. This is not even close. Like, Blizzard is not ever going to balance anything. And Season of Discovery is an absolute joke balance-wise. There's literally no balance. The only balance that exists is the fact that Blizzard failed balancing, and melee classes and weapon classes are severely overpowered considering 2 caster classes currently. It's reality. Shut up.
But even if we don't get a rune that does an immolation or a type effect, we already have it in the game. Kind of. It's learned at level 32, and it's called Hellfire. The Warlock channels over 15 seconds, causing 87 fire damage to themselves and all targets around them. Now, if we combine that with the Intensity talent in the Destruction tree, you avoid 70% of all spell knockback effects, which is already pretty good. But if we add a Concentration aura on the Alliance on top of that, you can reach spell knockback immunity, and the same can even be achieved on the Horde side now if you keep Earth Shield up all of the time. In other words, you can just run into a bunch of mobs and sit there.
Oh wow, I actually need to get Earth Shield on my Shaman, I completely forgot.
Full channeling a Hellfire, and as long as there are no interrupt or stun effects, it's just gonna go through. And if there are, well, you can bring a free action potion and avoid that quite easily. But wait, there is more. So the Pyroclasm talent has a chance to add a stun onto Hellfire. Now apparently this percentage chance for it to stun is once per channel, not per tick. Not so sure about that myself, but it still seems decent though. The interesting bit is when we add on our current runes though. So if you precasted an Incinerate on pull into a Lake of Fire, you're doing 65% bonus fire damage. This means Hellfire will go from 87 a tick to about 144. This means over 15 seconds, it'll be doing over 2,000 damage baseline. Sounds like a pretty nice setup for dungeons when you're gonna be running these runes anyway. You just do need to respec into Destruction a little bit. Are there issues?
I mean, everything's overpowered, that's true, so that's good. I like hearing that they get overpowered stuff, because everything is overpowered and dumb and not balanced. So, what does it matter if one class has... Dude, I don't know about you, but again, this is usually... I'm European. As far as I can understand, World of Warcraft in the USA is literally a battleground of stupidity. I don't know. I can get pugs, I can get raids, I can get GDPs without any problem with literally any class and any dumb spec. It is what it is.
With this then? Well, there's two of them which I can see, yes. The first one up is, you guessed it, spell ranks. Rank 1 Hellfire is learned at level 32, rank 2 is rather painfully at 42.
Yeah, I said this previously, I'll say it again. We need to get rid of spell ranks. It's time. Blizzard, Wizards, EA, whoever shitty company that's running this shit show, get rid of the spell ranks. It's time. It's literally time to get rid of spell ranks in Season of Discovery. They are ruining everything.
And rank 2 increases the base damage from 87 to about 144. If we had rank 2 with the extra fire runes active, it will be ticking for 238
That's like 80% more damage, essentially.
Second, which would be completely insane. The second issue is, the extra fire damage you deal is probably going to also mean extra fire damage which you take as Hellfire ticks. Sure, you're going to be doing a lot of AoE damage to everything around you, but you're also going to be face tanking at the same time. Still, with this, you should definitely be holding AoE threat, and it'll give the healer something to do, won't it? Next up is Mage. Mages are already doing unreal things in dungeons with their new toolkit. Regeneration, Living Flame, and Living Bomb are allowing them to effectively pull over 100 mobs in dungeons and straight up face tank them whilst healing through their damage due to how the power of their heals scale directly from the number of mobs that there are. And this is classic Mage too, so there is no diminishing returns for AoE effects after hitting a certain number of enemies. You could be hitting 100 or 1 million enemies, your abilities do the same damage. No wonder they changed this in TBC, by the way, but we aren't in TBC, we're in vanilla, so Mages doing crazy stuff is very much in flavour.
Oh boy.
I also think Living Flame at the moment kind of goes to show you why when Blizzard did give Discipline Priests Atonement, they never gave them any extremely powerful AoE effects. So what I want to see at 40 is just how far can people take this. At the moment at 25, we don't really have too many dungeons to test, and people just tend to boost or farm Ragefire Chasm or the Wailing Caverns. But by 40, we'll have Razorfang Crawl.
Dude, are you kidding me? A level 25 should not already be able to do this in Wailing Caverns and whatnot. Previously, it was level 60s who boosted in RFC and whatnot. But now it's a level 25 boosting for its current level dungeon. This is insane.
Scarlet Monastery, assuming it's open, parts of Alderman, and parts of Razorfen Downs. But the biggest potential for money making is definitely in Zul'Farrak. Back in 2019...
Dude, we already did this in Zul'Farrak. By the way, I leveled a Mage when Classic came out, and I actually AoE grinded. Bruh, I did this as a mage. At the level you could actually get in it. It was pretty easy. It was pretty fun. Got the shadow damage earring or ring or what the hell was that? Didn't know how much it was worth. 0 on the auction house. Put it up for 5 gold or something like that. Got sniped by a bot instantly. Turns out that item was 200 gold. Hey, it is what it is, boys. Did not honestly care at all.
Classic Zul'Farrak was one of the go-to farming spots for mages, specifically the zombies that spawned in the rooms with the graves as you ran over them. Now the mobs there are level 43 to 44, so it's probably not going to work too well, especially since they're going to hit way harder and will have a much higher chance to resist spells, but their drop table for BOEs due to their level is going to be extremely good. There's also a chance the anti-boosting and gold farm changes are in the game from Season of Mastery 2, which if you didn't know made these Zul'Farrak zombies just drop less stuff in general because, well, they were way too good. Either way...
Oh wow, dude, no one cares if they drop even 50% of the loot. It's gonna still be absolutely insane. Because again, a mage can do this for free. There is literally no negative, no downside to a mage doing this.
Whilst mages may have to go back to kiting mobs instead of face tanking elites, I kind of want to see how far they'll be able to push this new playstyle once we hit level 40. Maybe you even take a duo into Zul'Farrak, it could really be that good. For Priest, I don't have too many things to say really. My biggest hope for the phase is that Shadow Priests do start to come online, but for it to really do that...
True. Bro, my guild doesn't even take my Shadow Priest. They can only go as a healer to raids. Disappointing. Dude, it is what it is. But yeah, it's like, I mean, again, this is Blizzard balancing. The thing that increased Mind Flay and Mind Blast damage initially was 25%. Then Blizzard buffed it to 50 because they're incompetent idiots.
And it both needs better mana efficiency, as well as some better scaling through stats. I've said it before, but Shadow Priests really gain a whole bunch through talents between 25 and 40. Shadow Weaving can stack up a plus 15% damage debuff on an enemy, Darkness is flat 10% more damage, and of course Shadow Form is a further 15% on top of that. But if you gave Priest straight up 40% more damage to all Shadow spells right now, as we are at the moment, they would probably move towards the middle of the table for PvE, whilst becoming...
I actually didn't check this, but as a healer, I'm obviously forced to not play Prayer of Mending because that's a DPS loss. And no armor reduction for bosses, right? So, I obviously need to play Homunculus. Dude, Homunculus is 50 damage. Homunculus is 50 DPS on its own, by the way. On an average boss. That's kind of wild, honestly.
Completely insane in PvP, so it's gonna be a tough balance. I think an ability next phase not to sleep on is actually Mind Control. You get it at level 30 and it works on mobs up to level 44. We already know Noma's gonna be the new raid, and I'll bet just like BFD, it has a bunch of new humanoid mobs inside, and they may well have some crazy buffs.
I just hope there's not gonna be any trash, and that's it.
Or debuffs that can be abused.
Also, question. What do you think is going to be the Horde capital for the world buff drop? I'm gonna kill myself if it's something like Undercity or whatnot, because you don't have a flight path to Strangletorn from there. It still needs to be either Ogrimmar or Thunderbluff. There's no other choice. Also, am I the only one who's thinking that Blizzard has a very big fancy-pantsy thing for Alliance? Because, man, there's a lot of runes that you need to get on, a lot of classes where you need to go to Westfall, Darkshore, and all of those stupid places, aka Alliance territories that are really, really annoying and hard to get to as a Horde player. Kinda wild, ain't it?
Through Mind Control, and Mind Control has had a role in raiding here and there throughout Classic already. You can get a fire resist buff from Upper Blackrock Spire, which is super useful when taking on Ragnaros to reduce damage taken, and Smelter.
Never used it.
Elementium, needed for Thunder Fury, is from a goblin that you have to mind control inside a Blackwing Allure. It should be interesting to see what new interactions this spell can have with the new content though. Next is Druid, and what I want to talk about is Star Surge. If you thought this ability was annoying this phase, just wait until Boomies have all her talents by level 40. One thing it does say on the tooltip is that Star Surge benefits from most effects related to Wrath or Starfire, but I'm assuming it's just worded like this, so it's not intended to double dip from talents which affect both of those spells. Among other things, Moonkins will of course get Moonkin form, which is okay in vanilla. Honestly,
bro, I have not seen anyone play Moonkin. No, I have honestly also not seen anyone play Shadow Priest, but you know, still, wow.
It's more of a PvP talent. It grants 3% spell crit to party members, not the 5% it did in TBC, as well as granting 360% bonus armor contribution from items.
Wow, that was good for leveling.
So you can't cast utility restoration spells in Boomkin form, and it has no mana regen effects directly tied to it. But aside from that on the talent tree for buffing up...
Yeah, mana regeneration effects are needed. Like, oh, come on, so needed.
Star Surge, you have Moon Fury, which is just going to give you 10% more damage. Vengeance, increasing the critical strike damage bonus by 100%.
Hell yeah, dude, I'm so excited actually for level 40 with my Shaman because it's going to be amazing. I'm going to finally have more crit and more crit damage. That's the big one. Oh yeah, 100% more crit damage. Man, I'm going to be one-shotting things with Lava Burst. This is going to be wild. By the way, my Shaman is ridiculously geared. I'm just missing 2 rings, the Epic Staff, and a necklace. That is it. My Shaman is, despite that, fully geared. My main is a Rogue. My Rogue's not geared. My Rogue is missing 50% of the stuff. And I raid every reset, baby. So, yeah.
So it will deal 2 times damage instead of 1.5 when it crits, and improves Starfire, which will give Star Surge a 15% chance to stun for 3 seconds. So Druids at 40 will now be casting a 42-yard range, 2 times crit modifier, 15% chance to stun, instant cast nuke, which will cost about 10 or 12 mana with a 6-second cooldown. That sounds pretty good to me, actually.
Yeah.
Also at 40, Druids get some pretty key abilities for general use too. Dire Bear Form is just a bear form, but better in all aspects.
Oh, I even forgot that there is such thing called Dire Bear Form. Wow.
And Grace is your safe fall effect, so you don't get knocked out of Prowl from full damage. And you get Innovate too, which no doubt your arcane mages will be informing you that they need off cooldown. The Rogue has a bunch to look forwards to as we head towards...
Bruh, again, I said this before, I'll say it again, Blizzard. Nerf Rogue damage by 30% and give us like 30 to 40% more energy generation so we can actually use combo points on something else but slice and dice. I'm not gonna lie, still enjoying playing a rogue. By the way, I am literally an idiot who plays dagger rogue every single time. I have not once in my life played a sword rogue, and never will in classic. Never even honestly did properly when I returned to Shadowlands for 3 days. Never even did then. Okay? I'm playing daggers all the time. I am tired. By the way, I am so tired of the fact that Blizzard is giving epic staff drops because, well, all mage classes use staffs, right? And epic double sword. Why isn't there an epic dagger drop or something like that, Blizzard? Hey, why? And yeah, dude, come on. I already played the meme spec. I played daggers, okay? Multilate is absolute... Well, it's going to be good for leveling, but it's absolute ass damage compared to, Swashbuckle. Like, come on. My parse is 50% worse than the other rogue in my guild. Well, mostly because those losers actually go and get the Dark Moon Fair buff and things like that. Yeah, they're actually kind of tryhards. But still, I can't compare to Swashbuckle. It's just not even close with daggers. Blizzard, please.
40, including baseline abilities such as Safe Fall, Cheap Shot, Kidney Shot, and Blind. It's kind of your whole PvP toolkit you've been missing during Phase 1, and rogues are already pretty good in PvP.
And by the way, the idea that you can't use Deadly Brew and Multilate at the same time is just the stupidest shit ever. Oh no, actually not Multilate and... Well, currently, if you want to play Daggers and be even remotely effective, you're not actually using Multilate to fight bosses. You're using the backstab thing, because I did the math. It's the same damage as Multilate, because Blizzard's fucking shit at math. Okay? But it costs 50% less energy to cast, which is crazy. No, it's not. No, actually, it's like 1/3 less energy. Yeah, it's 40 versus 60, but it does the same damage. It is crazy inefficient.
25 somehow, so they're going to be monsters at 40. For the rogue tanking identity, it's worth bringing up that as we begin to progress into these later dungeons and raid tiers, Blizzard started to really enjoy just putting stuns all over the place. And as a tank, usually getting stunned is bad, but for a rogue tank where you're far more reliant on mitigation rather than high armor to reduce damage
No one does rogue tanks except speedrunning.
taken, it's extra bad. So whenever you do take a stun and your tank...
Because a rogue tank is the best single target DPS tank. Yeah, that I mean, it still doesn't make rogue tanks good, but you get the point.
Taking a bunch of stuff, your damage taken is going to spike way harder than other tanks. Now, unfortunately, your PvP trinket doesn't remove stuns because different PvP trinkets do different things in vanilla, but if you're heading into a particularly dangerous pack or are looking to pull quite a bit, reaction potions will go a long way to keeping you in the fight and not just sitting there in a stun taking way too much damage. Reaction potions themselves are fairly cheap and will remain a consumable that's used throughout the entire game, so it never hurts to have a few of them with you. Also, we don't know if rogue tanks are going to get any form of AoE or an ability to allow ease of swapping combo points.
No.
And it's kind of similar to what I said about the locked tank. Blizzard don't seem to want every tank to have good AoE and good single target.
Well, yeah, but that's because Blizzard are idiots that fail a lot.
But Rogue at the moment really is just a pure single target tank. But for Rogues to truly be the best on single target, they're going to need some insane threat generation to make up for the fact they're going to be constantly having to tab. And then there is the off chance that in Gnomeregan, a lot of things are immune to bleeds and poisons, such as the Room Full of Elementals where you usually jump down, as well as, well, mechanical stuff in general. It may be time to break out the daggers and hope that Slaughter from the Shadows gets some more supports so you can play a proper dagger build in this next level bracket. Whatever.
LOL, he knows. Yeah, Slaughter from the Shadows is the minus 20 energy on backstab rune.
Happens though.
But it goes instead of Deadly Brew, which sucks.
I can see Rogues opting into playing combat from here on out though, unless there is some insane poison build that warrants going assassination. Blade Flurry and Adrenaline Rush are kind of just too good, and they only get better the shorter encounters are. And from what we've seen in BFD so far, and well, from how Classic usually is in general, I'm expecting some pretty fast encounters. Next we have Hunter, supposing they haven't been successfully nerfed out of the game by Phase 2 that is. Maybe it's just that Phase 1 Hunter was all about beast mastery, but Phase 2 will be with marksmanship and its abilities that scale with weapon damage will start to come online. But BM in Phase 2 really has a lot of things to be excited about. First up, you get a whole new pet which you couldn't access in Phase 1, the Gorilla. Elder Mistveiled Gorillas, those are the ones just outside of Booty Bay, are level 40 and have Thunderstomp rank 2, which is a big AoE ability. Unfortunately, however, in Classic it has a 1-minute cooldown. Perhaps we get Rune of the Gorilla, where its cooldown is reduced massively and it becomes your big AoE ability alongside Explosive Shot. Because looking at pets so far, such as
Who uses I actually don't know what hunters use. Do hunters use even? No, they use Steady Shot and something else, I think, right?
Scorpid and Wind Serpent.
No one uses
focus
Explosive
spenders
Shot.
that do magic damage has been a pretty good thing so far. But all the same, BM's talents next phase are going to be huge. It could be that all these hunter nerfs Blizzard have been doing have just been in preparation of the power they will receive next phase. So with the future talent, your pet will have 15% bonus critical strike chance, 30% extra attack speed, 20% bonus focus regen, as well as Bestial Wrath as your final talent. And
Bruh, that's big.
Bestial Wrath causes your pet to deal 50% bonus damage.
God, I hate when my guild GM pet out damages me. Just the pet. I hate it so much with some shitty classes. It's funny though.
And be CC immune for 18 seconds. So yeah, even though hunters have been getting nerf after nerf this phase, assuming pets still scale as well as they currently do, I'm expecting some pretty crazy performance next phase. Oh, and also a little side note for hunters. If Blizzard can make a rune for Mongoose Bite for the melee hunter so the ability is not legitimately a waste of gold to train, that would be great. Next we have Shaman, and in phase 1 the tanking spec has been amazing, but the other class
literally best tank in the game.
Identities have not quite been keeping up. I think Elemental has to be one of my top picks for a spec that should improve the most between 25 and 40.
Same.
All the things at the bottom of your talent tree are just amazing. You'll be getting bonus range on Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, 100% bonus crit damage from Elemental Fury, taking you up to a 2x modifier, and this talent is also worded to include fire spells too. So this is going to affect your Lava Burst.
Yeah.
Lightning Mastery will reduce your main spell's cast times.
Oh, I forgot about this, but this is also big. One of the biggest problems of being Ellie currently is how absolutely godforsaken awkward your rotation is. It's essentially Fire Shock, Lava Burst, two lightnings, and there you go, that's it. It's really, really atrocious and obnoxious.
Of course, Elemental Mastery for the big double crit this spec is famous for. Also, Elemental is one of the best placed specs in the game in terms of spell ranks, assuming that there's nothing being done about having poor spell ranks, that is, but rank 7 of Lightning Bolt is learned at 38, and rank 2 of Chain Lightning is at 40. This is literally about as good as it gets for being a caster. And on top of that, Blizzard buffed Overload to have a 50% proc chance, which is a...
I'm not gonna lie, Overload just needs to be buffed to 100% proc chance and we can call it a day, okay? It is what it is.
Crazy high number for all the abilities it affects. And don't forget, as a Shaman, you'll be getting Chain Heal, and that can proc off Overload too in Season of Discovery. And do you know when you learn Chain Heal? Level 40, so it's perfect spell rank wise. In fact, with Ancestral Guidance converting 100% of healing to damage, Restoration Shaman might even have these weird burst windows on certain bosses. Imagine the Turtle boss in BFD, if after the shield break...
Oh, wait. No, Shamanistic Range, I think, is the one that he's talking about, that competes with the healing rune, right? No, it is not. There's no way you, even as a healer, there's no way, yeah, it's the, what was it called? It was Overload. Overload competes for the glove slot with the no, is it, or is it the pants slot? I don't remember, but I don't think there's honestly a point where you can do this. Plus, Shaman healing is a little bit like meh.
Ancestral Guidance converting 100% of healing to damage. Restoration Shaman might even have these weird burst windows on certain bosses. Imagine the Turtle boss in BFD, if after the shield breaks you stack everyone up and then just sent in 5 or 6 chain heals with Ancestral Guidance and Trolls Berserking active. It would actually be doing quite a bit of damage back to the boss. For Enhance, of course, the thing you're all looking forwards to is the Wind Fury weapon, giving you a chance to gain 2 extra attacks. And there is kind of also a soft confirmation there will be a rune to push 2-hand enhancement too. There's even been things data mined such as...
Bro, stop it with the runes and talent points. Just make it baseline. No one wants to fucking use a rune for this shit.
The new automatic crown pummeler from Noma, which should be usable as well. I just hope Enhance gets a bit more in terms of new damage dealing abilities as well. And that Stormstrike sees a buff in some way, because its current version in vanilla is really weak.
Yeah.
All in all though, Shamans are looking to get a lot of fun toys next phase, and that's with or without us knowing the new runes.
True.
And now we get to the Paladins. Now Holy for healers...
Do I just skip Paladins because who cares about these losers?
It's a bit on the weaker side at the moment, but I swear it's not far off from being a crazy good healer in Season of Discovery. Next phase, you'll be getting Illumination in your talent tree, meaning spell crits restore all of the mana that you spent on them. What will really decide Holy Pallies, though, is if Blizzard decide to give them a rune which actively does healing, such as Divine Radiance, Light of Dawn, Divine Light, something like that. At the moment, you can duplicate a bunch of heals thanks to Beacon of Light, but you're stuck casting these not very good classic spells. If you get a good rune alongside Beacon, Holy Pally stonks will go up fast. Holy Shock remains super underwhelming in Classic, however. They had to massively increase its damage and reduce its cooldown for Shockadin to be a thing in TBC. Blizzard would have to make a rune to push this talent way beyond its capabilities at the moment. What I also want to see is whether tank paladins actually start to play prot and pick up consecration, and the determining factor is really going to be, will stuff in the raid actually be doing damage, or can you get away with being a rep pally that puts on Righteous Fury and just DPSs? Because in BFD, Pala tanks are doing
probably right.
Exactly this. Also, consecration is just, I mean, it's bad. Like, it's really bad. You can learn rank 3 at level 40, and it does 192 damage baseline over 8 seconds for 320 mana. You remember when we were talking about Warlocks earlier and how one tick of Hellfire could do 144 damage? Assuming it scales with the runes, that is. That's quite a big difference. This is kind of the thing about tanking in Classic though. It's all about threat, not mitigation. There is literally a handful of fights in the game that we know of at least where you must gear primarily for mitigation. The rest of the time you just generate
I don't even know any of these fights.
As much threat as possible so your DPS don't have to stop what they're doing. We would need some real tank buster bosses in Gnomeregan for tanks to, well, start tanking properly. The final thing I want to see from Paladin's next phase is if anything new can be found with the Reckoning talent for PvP or PvE. So honestly, this is one of the most complicated talents in the game and has a bunch of rules which the game does not inform you of in any way whatsoever, such as losing rec stacks when mounting, and not even being able to see how many stacks you have. Thanks for that, Blizz. It's always been a fun talent in PvP though, especially when you fight someone that deals many small crits, such as a rogue or feral druid, and then you can just turn around, Hammer of Justice, unleash the rec stacks and one-shot them. Last but not least is the warrior. So first, I have my tinfoil theory on why warrior is going
Oh god, not the warrior.
to be getting Titan's Grip next phase. So the data mined automatic.
Because no one... I hate warriors so much. They're just the most brain damaged class.
Crowd Pummeler, which we looked at earlier, specifically has classes that can use it on its tooltip, and it excludes warrior. Why would it do that? Because if you had Titan's Grip, you could put this on your offhand, and whenever it comes off cooldown, you could activate a 50% attack speed buff for 30 seconds. This would be unbelievably broken, perhaps even too overpowered for the warrior class. Just imagine a 50% attack speed buff on demand with all the flat damage increases you have. We don't even know what new weapons there will be next phase, but judging by what we can get at the moment, I think we can assume they're going to be really powerful. Of course, this is...
Dude, we're gonna be... By level 60, we're honestly probably gonna be TBC levels of powerful, I think. Because think about it. The epic staff from Black Phantom Depths, BFD, right? I said it correctly in my head. From BFD is as strong as the pre-bis before Molten Core. Staff of Jordan, if I'm not mistaken. That's crazy. Dude, we are gonna be we retail boys. It is what it is.
Just a theory based off a data mine, but yeah, this could be happening. Secondly is that depending on bleed immunities inside the raid, if you can bleed stuff, you're gonna be playing arms. So it turns out there's currently a different version of Deep Wounds in the game compared to the vanilla reference client, and it's interacting in ways which it usually doesn't, such as stacking its damage instead of refreshing and applying from offhands. This buff, and it is a buff, is playing a decent part in the warrior's performance in BFD, and as long as this version of Deep Wounds exists, I can only see it getting stronger, and that warriors will continue to build around it. It may be somewhat similar to the TBC version of warriors, where you played arms, but you still dual-wielded instead of going two-handed. It's a bit more counterintuitive, but hey, more damage is more damage. And that is everything I have for today. One thing for each class that can...
Oh jeez, man, it's gonna be wild. Anyway, that was our boy William Vilville. What a time to be a Villy. Anyway, this was Quizzer Sin. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.